Let's go, Coyotes!
1, 2, 3! Nah, 3MS Network!
What is up, my happy people? This is Andy, talking to you live from here with two cats in the background, as you can see. One is sleeping. Not anymore. And the other one is there. So every year I do this sort of like year-end report thing, where I talk about things that I liked in the year. Yeah, more or less. It generally has music in mind, but I thought I would open it up this year. So yeah, so there's going to be a movie category and a game category as well. So I normally just post this on Facebook, but I figured I'll make a video this year just to highlight this whole thing. So quick disclaimer, this video will not be monetized at all. I will be using clips from songs that pertain to the albums, whatever in general. There will be no monetization. Everything I use, I own in terms of like albums and stuff. And it's not meant to take away from the artists. I will only be posting clips, not full songs. And it's posted under fair use. So, yeah! Get it up, yeah. So we begin with the first category, which is Game of the Year. I've played not that many games this year. I haven't really had the time, but the ones I've played I've enjoyed. So there's a couple of candidates: Pokémon Moon, Star Ocean 5, Skyrim Special Edition. Can't really count that because I've played it already and it came out some other time. But this year I'm going to give it to FF15, Final Fantasy 15, because while I critiqued it on my Facebook and said that it didn't feel like a Final Fantasy to me, which it still doesn't, it's still a really, really, really good game, and I can recommend it for anyone that's not played a Final Fantasy, or anyone that maybe lost faith in the franchise after a certain installment that we won't talk about. But yeah, Final Fantasy 15 gets my vote as Game of the Year. And so we move on to Movie of the Year, and there is only one candidate for me for this category. Sorry, lost my train of thought. And it's Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is an amazing film. Benedict Cumberbatch is great as Doctor Strange. It leaves a lot open for the Infinity Wars coming up, and yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly. So go check it out when you have the time. So now we begin with the music side of things. Sorry for stumbling over my words so much. And we start with a topic that's sort of near and dear to my heart, as it comes up every year. It's become a tradition of mine to watch it, and I enjoy it every year, despite some questionable decisions. I am, of course, talking about Eurovision. So my first category in terms of music is my Eurovision Song of the Year, or my favourite song from Eurovision. It's definitely not the winner, I'll tell you that much. I've grown to accept that it's won, even though I'm not happy with the result, but that's a topic for another time. My favourite song remains to this day, despite what Last FM might tell you, Help You Fly by Ivan, the Belarusian entry. I just love it. It's a great catchy pop song. So check it out. The next category is Eurovision's biggest winner. This is, in my opinion, based on like what's happened after Eurovision, because despite what people believe regarding Eurovision, the winner of the contest doesn't always get all the spotlight. There's always songs that are buried within that do better post Eurovision. And for me, the biggest winner was Sweden's entry, If I Were Sorry, by France, because at least here in Austria, it's been played a lot on the radio. It's a great radio track, even featured on the Ö3 CD this year. That's our equivalent of the Now That's What I Call Music compilation that the UK gets. It was featured on that, so that should tell you exactly how big it became in the mainstream here. But yeah, I like the song. I didn't at first, but it grew on me, and I reckon it should have done better than it did at Eurovision. Yeah, so check that out. The next category I have on my list, the next two actually, are sponsored. We'll not say sponsored, we'll just say they're powered. Yeah, they're powered by Last FM. Last FM scrabbles music, if you don't know. It can hook up to Spotify, it's great. I use it to keep track of my music listening habits and stuff. You can follow me on Last.fm at last.fm/organarchy. That's ORGANARCHY. It's named after my old website. And the first one here is Last.fm Most Popular Band. And there is no surprise as to who won this year. It's Dream Theater. I'll get more in depth with that when I get round to it. Now, moving on to the next two categories actually. The next two categories have the same winner, so I'm lumping them in together. It's Last FM Most Popular Song and Spotify Discover Song of the Year. Spotify Discover Song of the Year, if you don't know, on Spotify, you get a weekly playlist where it looks at your music taste and compiles a list of 30 tracks that you might enjoy. Some of them are a bit jank for me, but others are like diamonds in the rough, so to speak. And this one was no exception. It's Manic Blooms Running from the Sea, specifically the GRMic remix. The original sort of demo version is great as well, but this version just has more oomph to it, and I enjoy it. It's great. It's a great song. You should check it out, definitely. And check out Manic Bloom's other stuff as well. The next category is Greatest Musical Discovery. Now, this can be anything that I've discovered in the course of the year, whether it be from YouTube, from Facebook, friends posting things, that sort of thing. One thing I will tell you it's not is PPAP, because that song drove me barmy. Yeah, but it's in the same vein. The song I've chosen as my greatest musical discovery this year is The BB Handel by Takeo Ishii. It's a Japanese guy yodeling in German. Yeah. Here's a clip. Now we come on to the sort of larger awards that I give out in my list. The first one being Cover Song of the Year, because on my Spotify list I get a lot of cover songs, and I get a few really good ones. Not to mention bands that I already listen to do cover songs as well, and this is no exception in the case of the song I chose, which is The Sound of Silence by Disturbed. Now I understand that that song came out last year, both in album form and in single form, but let's face it, it blew up this year. It went viral, it's all over the place now. The radio plays it, which is huge for a band like Disturbed. And it's a genuinely moving version of the song, and you can't really say much more than that, other than the fact that it's just incredible how much. If you've been listening to Disturbed since The Sickness, then it really is a testament to David Draiman, how much his voice has improved in terms of singing, because that song is incredible. It's performed incredibly. But if you're not happy with me choosing a song released last year as my pick for cover song of the year for this year, then I do have a backup pick, and that is Shout by Scandroid. It's a cover of the Tears for Fears song, Shout, obviously, and it's just performed amazingly. So I will play clips from both of those now. Now I come on to Best New Band. For me, a Best New Band is a band that I've discovered over the course of the year, rather than a band that started this year. The band could be around for ages and I've never heard of them, and I will then listen to something by them and fall in love, maybe. And it's not a band I've chosen, it's an artist, sort of composer. He goes under the pseudonym Blue Stally. His stuff is amazing, seriously. He's friends with Clayton from Cell Dweller. They collaborate a lot, and the album on my Spotify Discover list, I had The Fall come up on my playlist. I am obsessed with that song. It's an amazing song. And then I checked out the rest of his album, and yeah, it's a great album, The Devil. It's heavier than his other stuff, whereas his other stuff tends to focus more on the electronic side of things. But there's a lot of good guitar work on The Devil, and I really think you ought to check out the album as well. So, Blue Stally is my pick for Best New Band. Now we start getting really heavy with the next category, which is Ballad of the Year. There were a lot of good picks this year, specifically Losing Faith, which still brings me to tears every time I hear it. It's really moving, but that's more based on the story. Whereas if you don't listen to the rest of the album, and get a good idea of the story of the Astonishing, it kind of loses its meaning. Whereas the song I chose as my ballad of the year is a good standalone ballad that sounds amazing, sung amazing, performed amazing. Yeah, it's just great. And it is Endlessly by Amaranth. Elise Reed is one of my favorite female vocalists ever. Amaranth is a band that both me and my wife listen to, and Endlessly really stood out to us from Maximalism, their newest album this year. It's a really, really, really good ballad. Now I come on to Song of the Year, just in general, Song of the Year. The song I enjoyed the most from all the tracks that I've listened to this year. Not like when they've been released in another year, just from the albums that were released this year. And there's only one pick for me for this, and it's White Pearl Black Ocean Part 2 by The Grace of the Ocean from Sonata Arctica's new album, The Ninth Hour, which I'll get into in the next category. This song is the perfect sequel to White Pearl Black Oceans, which is an amazing song on an amazing album as well. Sonata sequels have been hit and miss, specifically the Wildfire ones from Stones Grow Her Name. I felt that those were a bit but there have been other sequels, so to speak, that are amazing. The whole story between Caleb and Juliet, for example. All of those songs are great standalone songs, as well as amazing together. Specifically Juliet. I love Juliet. It's one of my favorite songs of the entire series. But yeah, White Pearl Black Oceans Part 2. I love this song. It's one of the best songs they've ever brought out. And that is no mean feat. So yeah, Song of the Year, White Pearl Black Oceans Part 2. So now we come on to the biggest category of my whole list, Album of the Year. Now I had to split this into two this year because it's been decided since January. And if you don't have an idea, go listen to one of our first shows of the year, Vanilla and Peas, over on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/3ms network. It's more or less been decided since then when what album of the year would be. But I didn't want to completely discredit all other albums released this year. So I came up with a secondary Album of the Year award, and that one goes to Sonata Arctica's The Ninth Hour. And I'll tell you why. It's an amazing album. You don't really need more clarification than that, but okay, I'll give you some. White Pearl's Black Oceans Part 2, Candle Lawns. The album opener's a bit weird. Grows on you though. Life. Life is a great track. See that track list right there? That there. It's a great track list. The only song that I'm not overly fond of is track 8, Fly, Navigate, Communicate. But it's a great album. I think it's the best album they've brought out since the Days of Grace. And I've said for a long time that I think that album is near perfection. So, just putting it out there. But yeah, that is my pick for album of the year that isn't the next one. And of course, the album of the year pick, which has been decided since January. It is, of course, The Astonishing. Did you have any other doubt that it was going to be that? If you've listened to Steve and I talk about this album, then you will know why it's been decided since January. This album is the best Dream Theater album they've produced since Octavarium. Now, don't get me wrong. Black Clouds and Silver Linings, Systematic Chaos, and Dramatic Turn of Events. They were good albums. They were great albums. Dream Theater, the self-titled one, did not like that one. But this one makes up for Dream Theater. This one is incredible. It's got an amazing story, it's great music, it really takes you on a journey. And despite all the gripes that Steve and I keep finding to this day and keep talking about, sorry, my nose is itchy. Oh, bloody hell. Despite all those gripes, it's still amazing to listen to. Of course, the biggest gripe that we have is Prince, who the fuck are you? He has no name. It's never mentioned. He never mentions it. And the biggest irony of this is the fact that several times in the album he asks people who he is. Or he asks them, he says to them, you know who I am. Twice in one song, actually. But yeah, despite that, incredible album. Check it out, please. If you haven't checked it out after us harping on about it in Vanilla and Peas, then you really need to do it now. That is my pick for album of the year. Well, that about does it for my award show here on the 3MS Network. It's not got much prestige to it, but I just wanted to get my opinion out there. Yeah. I'm Andy. I hope that you had an amazing Christmas, and I hope that 2017 isn't such a dick. Because 2016 can take a short dive off a cliff. Seriously. Great year for music. Not so much in general. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, that's it for this. I keep wanting to say episode. I'm so in the mindset of Pokemon. That does it for this video. I'm Andy of the 3MS Network, and I just want to point out to you, Elise Ridd, Tommy Karavik, and Russell Allen. 3 mind-blowing singers. See you later.
1, 2, 3. 3MS Network.